Hello, everyone. Good morning. Today, we are here with another topic, delivering deal value at the intersection of business and human capital strategy. This is a quite broader topic. So this is we have split this topic into different podcasts. Today, we'll be covering why do deal fails to garner value. Today, we have Gaurav Goyal, who is principal at Mercer, based out of Bangalore. I would like Gaurav to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Dharmendra. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. I'm Gaurav. I lead the M&A advisory business for Mercer India. Been in the consulting profession for about 15 years, half of which is on HR consulting and half of which is into M&A, focused on creating value for our clients, both private equity and corporate, with people as the key dimension. In the past 7-8 years, I have had pleasure of working with clients on more than 150 transactions across the deal lifecycle. So right from due diligence to closure of the deal to day one readiness to 100-day planning, and then from there, value creation for clients. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Gaurav. So today we are going to have a rapid fire question. So we have, since the topic was very broad, we wanted to, learn more from Gaurav about his experience. And so my first question to you, Gaurav, will be, what are the common reasons behind deals failing to deliver expected value, and how organizations identify these challenges early in the process?
Right. So I think that's a great question to kick off this topic, Dharmendra. Why do deals fail? We have been seeing 2023 aside, but up until 2022, M&A has been on the rise. There has been significant increase in the number of transactions. There has been significant increase in the investments made by companies to propel their inorganic growth. But still, despite that, the research in the study shows that 70 to 80% of the deals that have happened in the past have failed to garner value. Out of those deals, our research indicates that 50% of those failed transactions or deals, the reason could be attributed to inadequate emphasis on people aspects during a deal life cycle. During our, based on our experience of working with global clients and domestic clients on various transactions in the past, we find that there are 4 key points of failure in a particular transaction. Let's take each of those 4 points one at a time. The first point of failure is failure to close, which means that a buyer has identified a seller for potential investment, but due to reasons beyond each of their control, there's a failure to close a transaction. So think of an example like Reliance investing in Big Bazaar. That deal was in the public news for a very, very long time, but it failed to close. And we all know the story for Big Bazaar at this point in time. The second point of failure in a transaction lifecycle is failure to translate the strategy into execution. So when the deal team work on transactions, much before they plan to invest in an organization or acquire an organization, there is a sound strategy or there is a sound objective why you want to invest in a particular company. Now that sound objective gets, doesn't get percolated or translated to the people who are operationalizing the deal contours on the ground. What does it mean is that if you want to, the objective is that we want to create synergies by cross-selling more products. The operational team who is executing on the transaction post-close is not really understanding the strategy behind the whole objective. The third failure point is failure to adapt. So while even if the transaction has been translated, there have been points where the operational team doesn't really adapt to the changes that have come to the fore. For example, there has been changes to the organization structure. There have been changes to the culture. but both the teams have been failure to adapt to those changes in into execution. For example, if you look at, although this is a little bit of old transaction, but still very relevant in current context, merger of Air India and Indian Express. We all know that transaction didn't deliver the value that was envisaged. Primarily, the reason for that, was there were different cultures, there were different compensation levels, there were different ways of working with both the organization. So even when the strategy was translated into execution or actions, the teams at both the sides were failure to adapt to those actions. And I think the final point of failure is failure to sustain. We all hear the term initiative fatigue. We all know that it's good to take initiatives, but like many initiatives, it dies down after 2 or 3 months or 2 or 3 iterations. So there is a specific deal fatigue that kicks into in an organization execution plans, and people tend to go back to their old ways of working, which is what was before close of the transaction, because you are comfortable working in that particular environment. So I think summarizing these 4 failures are the key reason for why organizations do not or organizations fail to garner value from any transaction.
Yes, I think all the 4 points are really valid. I think we have seen also most of the acquisition, these are the challenges. So now if you look at organization, they are investing in the due diligence, and of late, if you look at increased due diligence time, so they spend a lot of time in completing the due diligence part. Despite investing in due diligence, why there is limited success in the deal?
Again, a great question.
Some example.
Again, a great question, Dharmendra. So initially, or even let's say if you look at 2021, 2022, when there was a race to invest, there was a fear of missing out amongst many investors. They wanted to invest in particular organizations, in particular sectors. There was little time given to due diligence. But in 2023, because of the slowdown in the overall activity, we have been witnessing a lot of time given to due diligence so that any organization or any buyer can understand what is going through in the seller's organization or in the target organization. One of the critical, there are 2 points why DD efforts do not really garner the value that they are desired to. And I'll speak from a people standpoint. Not many organizations invest in conducting people due diligence. At first, investors typically think that a due diligence on the financial health of the organization or on the legal construct of the organization should be sufficient to close, and from there on, the execution take place. But I think, linking back to the first point, why we fail to close, right? One of the important factors of incorporating human element into the transactions early on is a critical factor. Even our research again suggests that only 44% of the investors take people risk into account when they are preparing their financial models. And there could be multiple repercussions of people not able to when people are not considering people risk in the financial models. It could lead to significant adjustments to the price points. It could lead to delay in starting the integration plans. It could lead to elongated integration plans and so on and so forth. Even where organizations start on due diligences with people as an element in focus, I think the focus largely has been on understanding the historical health of the organization purely from a financial standpoint. So a typical due diligence scope that investors would have in mind would focus on what has been the historical cost of benefits. Have there been any non-compliances in the organization? Are there any issues with respect to labor unions or labor in general? Are there any underreporting of employee cost in the financial statements that might upset the financial model in the past?
Exactly.
So the point I'm trying to drive here is that all the focus on this point, at this point in time in due diligence, is look at historical numbers, not really look at what possibly could be the future of this, with this particular organization as far as people elements are concerned. So limited focus is put on, let's say, leadership aspects, limited focus is put on culture, limited focus is put on potential of people. And I can understand that during a transaction, you have limited access to sell side folks. So you may not be able to get a lot of these information, but to the extent you have access, and there have been many tools that are available in the market as of now, which can actually, with the help of AI and ML, predict the potential of people in the organization and so on and so forth. So again, focus is more on the past than the future. And that is why the efforts, even if elongated during the due diligence phase, the purpose of due diligence doesn't really, extend to, what value can be created with a particular target, keeping people at the center once we close the transaction.
Right. I think thanks for your time. Thanks for your inputs. I think they are very valuable. Next episode, when we are going to pick another 2 questions like this, which is going to give real value add to the audience. The takeaway from the today podcast is human capital, human strategy is, very pivotal for the whole M&A process, from starting to deal closure to, M&A integration. Thanks for your time once again. And we look forward for, having another session. And thank you, audience, for listening us.
Thank you, Dharmendra, for having me. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.